And I think that we are live. Can you hear me? Yes,
Yep.
you can hear me. So let me just check we're live. Actually, I'll ask you. Hello, everyone. If anyone is watching live, can you say hello and give us a thumbs up? I'm Katie Freedman. I'm the founder of Flexible Working People. And I'm really excited for tonight's live with Caroline Gowing from Pink Spaghetti. Caroline is the founder of Pink Spaghetti. And Kelly Matcham, who is one of Pink Spaghetti's business owners. So Carrie's saying, I can see you. Okay, fantastic. So we're now streaming. I was a little nervous about the tech, but we're all good to go. So if you are watching, I'm just going to give everyone a little bit of time just to catch up. Some of you will be watching on replay. Some of you will be joining us live now. Just say hello, give us a thumbs up and let us know that you can see and hear us properly. And then we will get moving. So I'm really excited, as I said, tonight. We've got our partner, Pink Spaghetti, that are joining us. And the title of tonight's event is Escape the 9 to 5, Build Your Dream Business with Pink Spaghetti, Virtual Assistant Business. I think why I'm so excited about this, A, because it's January, and B, because I've seen so many posts recently, as have Caroline and Kelly in the Facebook group, particularly about people who are really struggling with their employment, struggling to decide what it is that they really want to do with their lives. We reach a certain point, don't we, where we're just not sure that what we're doing is fulfilling us as much as it could be. Maybe we're tired of the grind. Maybe we're craving more control and greater flexibility, and that your job's no longer serving you. And I think that the question that gets asked a lot is what now, what next? And not everybody wants to stay in employment. People are definitely exploring self-employment routes, and this is a very good self-employment route, an opportunity for you to build your own business. But the exciting part of this is it's not doing it alone. It's doing it with support. And that's why I love working with Pink Spaghetti. And we've already had a number of members from our community join the Pink Spaghetti family who are thriving and doing well. So we love to bring this opportunity to you. So tonight's about exploring this possibility of setting up your own business. But I think it's about using the skills that you already have, which is also really exciting. We're not asking you to learn anything new without the overwhelm, I think. And that's the message really of going alone. So our two amazing speakers are Caroline. Hi, Caroline. And hello, Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Some of you will already have seen Kelly. She did a fantastic post into the group a few weeks ago telling her story. And actually, off the back of that, we thought, why don't we bring Kelly in and have a chat, which is why we're doing tonight as we're doing it. So Caroline's the founder of Pink Spaghetti, and she runs this franchise empowering people to break free from the 9 to 5. And Kelly knows firsthand what it's like to leave a corporate role and step into self-employment. So we're going to bring all that together tonight. So this is a really relaxed, supportive space. We are happy to take questions. So if you have any, please pop them on the thread. And if we can get to them later, we will. Otherwise, we'll be sure to come back to you. And let's crack on. So I'm going to start with Caroline, just to explain, I think, what inspired you, or talk about what inspired you to actually start Pink Spaghetti in the first place, and what your vision was for it in helping people to escape maybe the 9 to 5 grind.
I think there were sort of two stages. So to start off with, started it with a business partner, Vicky, and we did it because we wanted to escape the 9 to 5. We both had young children. I think mine were 1 and 3 at that time, and Vicky's were similar. We both had corporate roles. I had to travel with mine, and the pressure was just so difficult. And suddenly going from a pre-kids to post-kids, life was different. And like you said, Katie, you just get to this stage where you haven't got control. And we started it because we came to a crossroads. We were able to step back. Vicky got voluntary redundancy, and I came to the end of a contract, and we kind of went, should we do it? We talked about it for a long time. So we started the business. We identified a big gap for small business owners and the multitude of tasks that they don't have time to do. We worked with a lot of people very early on, so we set up our business. Now, did we at that point envisage that we would be supporting people to, break the 9 to 5 and empower people? No, absolutely not. But after a couple of years, when we realised that we had got a successful business, Then we started looking at expanding. And what we've done is work flexibly. We both became, through that process over the first couple of years, absolutely passionate about flexible working, and hearing all the stories about people that said you can't do it. You can't run a business, you can't have a job that's flexible. And we kept saying, but you can. And so we've always set this up, showing that this is a flexible business. It's not easy. Doesn't mean you're working 1 hour a day, but it's in your control. And that flexibility, totally passionate about.
Which totally talks to all the people who I'm sure are listening tonight. Okay, so Kelly, I'm going to bring you in now to just talk about your transition. So obviously you're one of Pink Spaghetti's business owners. I just think let's start, because I know you've told a story a bit before, but just talk a little bit about that transition from your traditional employed role to now running the business, just kind of what that looked like and what made you take the leap.
Sure. So I spent nearly 20 years in publishing, brilliant career, really interesting, and absolutely loved it. Bit similar to, as Caroline was saying, had very small children, and I tried to do the juggle. I was working in London, so the commute added quite a bit to it. And I just realised I'd fallen out of love with it, didn't know what I wanted to do next. It was quite a tough time, because in the end it reached burnout. I would just try to do too much, and it didn't. The two things didn't collide very well. So for me, I took a bit of time out. I just needed to kind of reset, work out. I didn't have a big dream of what I wanted to do next. What I did know is that ideally I wanted to work for myself. I'd kind of always harbored that, but I didn't have I was expecting the big idea to wake me up in the middle of the night. Like, I know what I'll do, but that didn't quite happen. So ended that job, then launched straight into pandemic. So of course I've now got a new job as homeschooling my children. That actually was the best thing for me, and that really helped the burnout and everything. But very quickly I realized I needed to do something, but my confidence was quite low at that point. So I sort of dabbled a bit, and I set up a little Etsy business with a friend at that point. And what that did was really ignite that whole definitely need to work for myself. I can't at this point envisage going back into employed role, but the Etsy thing wasn't quite right. But actually that gave me a bit of confidence to think, okay, I'm learning again. I've switched something back on, and I need to do this. And then it was complete by chance that I spoke to somebody about Pink Spaghetti. Never really thought about franchise, certainly never thought about VA work or had come across Pink Spaghetti before. In the end, honestly, fastest decision I've ever made. Just the moment I spoke to the team, and everything just sort of, for me, it was that piece of the jigsaw where I was like, hold on, this is my own business, but it's a nice supportive way of doing it rather than setting up on my own. My confidence kind of grew from there. So
had you ever heard of franchises before? Was that something?
McDonald's.
Yeah, but you hadn't really considered it. It was just someone said to you, why don't you talk to them? You had the chat and thought, bingo, this is it. That's my light moment.
Yeah. It's that business in a box thing, isn't it? Just like I said, it just made sense that I thought this for me gives me that confidence of launching into something that truly can be mine. But my goodness, the support, the training, everything that came with that just made it feel a lot less risky.
I think what you're saying is going to have massively resonate with everybody. I mean, even as I'm listening to your story, I'm going, that was me. So I know there are going to be people sitting listening to this going, that's me. I had enough of the 9 to 5, exhausted. I mean, I think the pandemic was pretty exhausting, but it gave you that time out, didn't it? To just have to think about what it is that you really wanted. I mean, I remember sitting there making lists of all the different things I could do, and it's just really hard. So you just have to explore. And I think that's the key. It's like exploring, having conversations, and then you get that light moment.
Absolutely. And the other thing I would say is, this is almost the best of both worlds, because I get to work with small businesses. I feel like I'm part of lots of them. So that's been a real benefit as well. That actually I feel like I've almost got lots of businesses as part of it, because you get so involved with them. So that's been really nice as well.
So I'm just interested in the skills that you had, because we talk about transferable skills. Yeah. What does your VA business focus on, and what were you doing that kind of you're now using in this new world? Because I think we talk about transferable skills, and it's a bit of a term fling around, but let's just get into that a little bit.
Yes, so and I think it is very different for everybody, and that's been quite fascinating. But for me, so like I say, publishing. So I had writing background. I worked in subscriptions, marketing, finances, business development. I had quite a lot of leadership experience. So actually, when you put all of those things together, I felt when I really looked at it, kind of that holistic look, I thought, actually, yeah, these are very transferable skills. Interestingly, I think not PA. I haven't done any pure PA
That's the
things,
thing I wanted to say, because
which
I
most
think
people
that
expect,
people
don't they?
automatically, when we talk about virtual assistants, go, well, I would have needed to be a PA, or I would have needed to have that experience. And I think what's brilliant about listening to you and knowing the Pink Spaghetti business is actually this transferable skills isn't just something we talk about. It's something that's really real, and that people come to you from all different backgrounds and manage to set up their own businesses using those skills. So what does your VA business focus on? Like when you go out with clients, what do you offer?
So again, it's interesting because you don't necessarily know who you might meet, what tasks they're after, get inquiries through. So that bit has been a real learning curve, because I was expecting to get quite a lot of PA type requests. But I think I've naturally, by talking about my background, have ended up working with people, marketing. So I do marketing manager role for a company. What do I do? I've worked with an events company, and that's been just absolutely so much fun as well. But I think because, again, they wanted me to do the social media, so that links to the marketing again. So I would say for me, a lot of it started with that marketing, copywriting. But actually, I'm not afraid to say we can kind of do anything, because, again, that's the benefit of having the network behind the scenes, that there's always someone that will know it, even if I'm not the expert. Often you get clients wanting a multitude of tasks. Well, I might not be the more techie one, but there's someone behind the scenes that can do that.
The thing. So Caroline, do you want to come in now? Because I think we should talk about that.
I think it's really interesting, because people tend to get the sort of work that they talk about and are really confident about. And we can train in all the different variety of areas. And as Kelly said, if one person doesn't know it, we've got a network, and that's fantastic. But when we started, I used to get the work that was all the process stuff and the administrative stuff and the spreadsheets and really putting better processes into small businesses, because that was my background. So, which is completely different to Kelly. So there's quite a lot of flexibility in how you build that business. And sometimes as people do build it, they'll then bring team members in that are able to offer something different to what their skill set is. So from that side, the amount of different tasks we can do is so wide, from the traditional, diary management and things like that. But even with diary management and email management, you can make things efficient. You can put in better communication processes. There is so much more than you could than what people would just call PA work.
Exactly, and I think that's what's really interesting about this. And Kelly, you're a really good example, but Caroline, I know you'll have loads of other franchisees in the business, in the Pink Spaghetti business, who are working. So I was going to say to you next, what type of experience? Can you just give us a flavour of the different types of experience or skills that people are utilising in this environment?
We've had people from HR background, marketing backgrounds, they've come from schools, they've come from prisons, just absolutely every single background, project management, really good administrative side, heavily social media sides. I think that quite often people just don't realise the skills they've got can be used. And actually really core things like being able to communicate well, and ask questions, and just be interested in other people's businesses and learn, look for efficient ways of doing things. I think however different all our franchisees are, we love a list. We're the organisers, we're the doers. That's what everybody has got in common. So that real want to help people, and in the end, whatever the type of role is that we end up doing for a client, and every client will be different. Even if you did diary management for every client, it's going to be different. Every person in the network wants to help, and that's really key. We can't train that. We can train lots, but we can't train those core.
That has to be intrinsically core of what you
look for. That's what you don't look for a particular type, sort of skill set or background. We look for a range of transferable skills, and those things you cannot train.
So Kelly talked about the support that you offer, and obviously that was the driver. And I think that I know that there's hundreds of people, thousands of people who talk about wanting to become a VA, virtual assistant, and do something virtually and build their own business, but they think about going it alone. And, you know, and lots of people say, how do I do that? And, you know, they ask in different groups and try and get support. But what you do is you bring that support. So do you just want to talk through that support piece that you help, how you help people actually to set up and succeed, and why this model works?
Yeah, okay. So I think when we looked at expanding the business, we chose a franchise model for that support. Vicky and I always said we would never have started the business on our own. If it was just us, it wouldn't have happened. So we knew that we had that, the friendship, the support of each other. And then we learned so much and made so many mistakes in the early days. So when we came to expand, we just felt that by going down this route, we could offer other people that that partnership, that's somebody that's been there, done that can listen to them. And I think you're right, Katie, there are so many groups where people can start up as virtual assistants on their own, and lots do. I think what we see time and time again and hear is the lack of support. You know, that is one thing, and I think Kelly will agree, our network is the most supportive network. The collaboration is incredible, of sort of over 50 like-minded women that have all been there, done that. They might start, they don't understand the pricing that they should be doing, so often they're undervaluing hugely, and we're able to mentor and coach through that. They don't know who their customer is or what the tasks are that a customer would actually want. They're limited by the tasks that they can do, and if they're training up, they're spending their own time training, whereas we can sort of show people, well, you need to do this, you don't need to do that. Quite often they're lonely, and that's a big thing. Being in business on your own, totally on your own, can be really lonely and daunting. And we see a lot of imposter syndrome, even, you know, in our network naturally. And I think that's becoming to learn that it's a very female thing. Highly capable and confident women suddenly feel real imposter syndrome. And again, we've seen that. We can coach and mentor people through that. And quite often an independent VA will build their business, restrict their hours to just their hours, whereas we talk about really building a business, building a team around you, so that you're really building an asset, building something for yourself that's over and above just filling your hours doing one type of job.
Yeah. And in terms of the training, what does that look like?
It's quite large, so it's a bit of a package. So it's 3 stages, but pretty much over 2 to 3 months. It ranges from online video calls to in-person training, and then some training using our online management system. So a complete merge of training. But I think the very key thing is everybody learns differently and has different skill sets. So it's very, very individual. Whilst certain sections take you through everything you need, the mentoring is very much one-to-one. So even in one cohort, we wouldn't compare, and some people will need some help, extra help in the marketing side, some people in the sort of bookkeeping side, and then that training carries on to a lesser extent up to the first year. And even then, once people are sort of fully trained and confident, there's extra support in things like recruiting teams. We've got something called the PINK program, which is an accelerated learning for people who want to really take their business to their next level. And there's all sorts of ambassador sessions with different franchisees running, and conference where everybody gets together to do more learning. I think Kelly will probably agree.
I'm just nodding at everything, Caroline.
So Kelly, you said that was invaluable for you. I know, even as setting up my own business, it's a really lonely place, and you know, all those questions that you want to ask, there's no one to ask. So I know that having that support would be invaluable. And I know that, Kelly, you just said yourself, if you hadn't have had it, you don't even know that you could have done it. So I think that you can't.
I would never be sitting here now. With the business I've got. Just to say, the training, the support, genuinely, I mean, hand on heart, has been absolutely incredible. And, you know, there are times and it's fine and you can carry on, and then suddenly you just need, it could be a cheerleader thing, couldn't it? Or just, you know, you just having one of those days and you can pick up the phone. But also the training truly doesn't stop. And I think that keeps us ahead of the game in terms of, you think how many technological changes there are, you know, all the Instagram stuff recently, because everybody's keeping up to date with this stuff. We're all being kept up to date, you know, so that's really valuable as well, that gives you confidence with your clients that you are ready to go, and that you're aware of all these things, and you're, you know, keeping your training going.
I think that's really, sorry, Katie. I think that's really important that you know, the support. There is a team. The support team, the head office team, is a team of 6. And whereas when you start on your own, you come from a corporate career of having a sales department and a finance department and a marketing department, and of course you don't, and you put all these different hats on. Well, I guess we've got that. The head office team is made up of your mentors, your coaches, your training managers, your social media experts, your marketing experts, your administrative support. So you kind of got that benefit again, but whilst you're self-employed. Agreed.
Okay, so we've talked about all the good things and the support. I'm just interested, Kelly, from your point of view, what the challenges have been. I think that, you know, obviously growing a business can be tough. You've had to learn new skills. What are some of, maybe talk about both, what are some of the challenges that you've had that you've got over and that being part of Spaghetti have helped you with, and then maybe sort of more rewarding aspects of actually doing this and having change.
Sure. It is very easy to talk about all the lovely stuff, honestly, because so much of it is. But of course, there's challenges, and you know, you do need to go into it with your eyes very open. You know, I'm not getting a regular salary anymore, but you know, we're doing okay with that. And I guess there's so many different things. Challenges would be as well. You're suddenly against the clock. You know, you start again at the beginning of every month. How much work do you do? You know, you're timing all of the work you're doing, and then you've got you're working on your own business on top of that. So there definitely are some of those kind of challenges. I think genuinely because the training's been so good, there's probably nothing else. I think people perhaps sometimes sort of worry about getting more business in and, you know, how fast they can grow that. For me, I think that's gone quite well, and you know, it hasn't been as challenging as I thought that bit might be. Rewards are just endless. Like I say, being part of lots of teams, clients are incredible. Having control, it comes back to that flexibility and control, because that's so empowering, really, in that I can turn clients down if I don't think it's a good fit. You know, I can fully work around the kids and my life. You know, there are so many rewards. The network, I mean, my goodness, the network, the conference, the people are just amazing.
I think what's interesting is before we came on to the live, we were just having a chat, weren't we? And you were talking about all the skills that you've learned as well. And Caroline was saying all the things that you thought that you wouldn't want to do that you're doing and you enjoy and love. Yeah. And I think that's part of the imposter syndrome piece, where you're slightly anxious, petrified, however you want to describe it, about the idea of getting clients and building your network or going to networking events. And you just said, I was terrified of all of that, but I love it. So tell us about that, because now you're thriving and you're networking, and who knew? Because I say I hate it too, but actually when I do it, I quite enjoy it. So I think it's kind of getting over some of those hurdles as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think definitely you have to go into this knowing you've got to push yourself out of your comfort zone, you know, at your own level. But I definitely came in with that attitude. But I did think, well, I won't be doing networking though. And then, and of course, sort of went along nervously to the first one, and then was like, oh, this is quite good fun. Oh yeah, I have actually done this in previous worlds. But I think because that was more, you know, very niche in that publishing world. So I'd walk in and know people, but of course it's still networking. And I love talking to people. So it's brilliant. I make so much time for networking. I probably do too much. What were the other things we were saying? The videos. And the other thing I said a hard no to was doing videos. And now I'm sort of known, aren't I, Caroline, for doing videos on social media.
Training when you were first there saying, I'm no, personal branding, no.
You're not going to get me all over Instagram.
Within 2 days, you just went, right, I'm going to do this. And that, you know, you're sitting forward, you're not sitting back, and that's why your business is growing. So it's wonderful to see you've flourished. It's great.
How long have you been doing it now, Kelly? You said you started during
No, after that. So nearly 18 months.
18 months.
Yeah.
And you're earning good monthly income from it now.
Yeah, I've got a team member as well. And my husband, but that could be a whole other Facebook Live. First person to employ a husband, I think. Yeah, and now everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. So many queries. Yeah, lots of people doing it.
Well, that's the thing. Again, I'm not going to get into it now, but I think it's interesting, Caroline, we can talk about this, that actually your business owners hire their own associate VAs to join them to support their businesses.
Yeah, and they're all employees.
Just touch on that, because that is an interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't used to when we first started. It was kind of, no, if you just want to fill your hours, that's fine. But there's so much business out there, and we're able to offer so much that you've got to be, build a team. And we have taken a call that anybody that works in Pink Spaghetti is employed, so they've got employment rights and they're protected under GDPR. The clients are protected, so every franchisee, and we've got processes and HR partners, and it's a well-oiled machine for recruiting. But yeah, so that is something that's really important. So Kelly, was your husband your first employee or your second?
No,
second. So yeah, that one, don't know about that one.
So in 18 months, you've got 2 people helping to support you. You're that busy.
Yeah. I'm thinking about. I think I'll go for a third this year at some point.
Yeah, we're tending to see people get to that point between 8 and 10 months in now. That's about the norm at the moment, and different, everybody's different. But and then our bigger franchisees have up to about 6. A couple have maybe 7 or 8. So it's very much dependent on really the ambition of the franchisee at that point, and where they are on their journey.
And I think the thing is that the things that you've described as challenging are the challenges that anyone would face in any business that you set up. They're not new. If you set up a business, those are the challenges, aren't they? You've just got to be up.
They are. And actually, talk about the negatives. Life happens, and the more people you have in a network and in your team, the more people you're dealing with, and that can be really good, and it can be really challenging, and a really key skill for anybody in our network. But as you said, anybody who runs a business is resilience. It's not just smooth sailing. You don't just turn up and get the work given to you. It can be up and down. You can lose a client, take it really personally when it's not taken personally, and then you can get the most amazing win and be with brilliant team members and clients. And it is, the life of a business owner is not smooth. It is up and down, but the highs are really high. And I don't know many people within the network that would go back to corporate life. Certainly Vicky and I said that very early on. That just that control, and just it's yours.
It's planning for your future, because not everyone wants to be employed forever, and so you're building a business.
And this isn't right for everybody, and that's absolutely fine. Employment might be right for you, absolutely fine, but it is rewarding.
Yeah. Okay, so for someone who is a bit hesitant about sort of stepping away, because I think that there will be people who are employed and thinking it's a risk, what would you say to those who are hesitant about that, and having that security of 9 to 5 and starting their own business, not just generally, I think, and then joining Pink Spaghetti, because I think the two go hand in hand. So what would you say to somebody who's like sitting there thinking, I'd like to...
Do you want me to take that one?
Why don't you both? Because Kelly's done it and Caroline can,
Well, so from our point of view, it's a massive decision. So we know that. I think the first step is ask for a prospectus. There's loads of information in our prospectus, and it's informative, and it's got links to lots of different stories like Kelly's from people that have come from lots of different angles. And then ask for a discovery call. Myself or a couple of team members will quite happily answer anybody's questions, because everybody's got different priorities. Usually it's how long does it take to get to earning, when am I going to get a customer, and all of the things that most people think they're the only people that are going to ask, and everybody asks them. But we will answer any question, and we make this whole process as informative and non-salesy as possible. If you've got particular earnings you need to have on a monthly basis, tell us, and we'll tell you whether that's realistic, what you're going to do over the first 6 months for you to think about. There are funding options if people want to go down that route. But if you're thinking about it or wondering if it's an option, you're not going to get a hard sell. So ask for a prospectus and just ask the questions that are important to you.
I love that. And your team just couldn't be nicer and friendlier. Like, they're not, honestly not. You're not selling a franchise. You're helping people.
We've got to be right for people. And people have got to be right for us. So
the whole franchise thing doesn't actually sit so well with me, because I just think you're not selling a franchise. You're selling an opportunity for people to set up a business with support, and it just is quite different. And I know that you're not, people aren't just going to give you their money and that's it. And you're going to have a conversation. If it's not right for them and it's not right for you, then
it's got to go both ways. Otherwise, neither party succeeds. We've got the most incredible, collaborative, wonderful, supportive franchisees who all, they're all non-salesy and they're all just nice people who want to help.
I know.
If we bring the wrong person into that, well, that's not going to help any of us. So
I know. And I think, Kelly, you're just such a great example of one of their lovely franchisees and business owners. And it's just really lovely to hear your story. We have had we're just at time, and I think we've covered pretty much everything that we wanted to, haven't we? We have had quite a lot of engagement on the group here. I'm just looking at questions, and we have got Anna, who's brilliantly answering most of them.
One of the team.
One of the team. So Anna's one of the team, and she's busy answering. So that's been really helpful. Right, Megan has asked, Kelly, is there anything you would have done differently over the last 18 months?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? Do you know, I'm not sure in some ways there's anything burning different. I think it was all part of the process and trusting in, you guys have been doing the franchising thing for so long now that, that training just worked and made sense. I did push myself out of the comfort zone early on, so I probably wouldn't change that. What else? I can't think of many things. I think the other thing was I didn't put too high expectations on myself from the beginning. And you quite rightly, Caroline, and the support team say, just gently, let's, set some goals and look forward. And I remember thinking, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to put unrealistic expectations on. Let's see how much I enjoy it, what the opportunities are. And then within a few months, I was like, right, here are my goals. I'm going to shoot for the stars. So I think that helped, though, that I managed my expectations early and kind of just, want to see how the land lies first.
And now, Kelly, would you say you'd never look back? This is the best thing that you did?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Just
lucky you landed on pink spaghetti. You could have gone around in circles.
I'll pay you later, Kelly.
Honestly, no, but really, because people go round and round in circles, and you found something that has really just worked for you.
Yeah. And then I've got my friend in as well.
You can see. What?
I got my friend who now runs the Reigate one.
Really?
I just knew it would be for her, and she was similar. I was worried she was reaching burnout, and I said, just got a feeling this could work for you. And she's now part of the team, isn't she? So, amazing.
Brilliant. All right. Well, look, let's leave it there because I think we've covered everything that we wanted to for tonight. We've had a lot of people watching. If you're watching on replay, we're going to drop some links in for you to grab hold of the prospectus, set up a discovery call if you want to have a chat. And I'm sure Kelly or Caroline will be more than happy to answer any questions. It's very unsalesy. It literally is an exploration to see whether this is something that might be right for you. And if it is, great. It's an amazing opportunity, and I'm so excited to be sharing it with the community, just because I know I don't like working with people who I don't really believe that it is a good opportunity. And Caroline is the same. We know that there are people in our community who this is going to be completely right for, and some not. So it is what it is, and just have a conversation. Also, if you're joining, I've noticed some people have joined late because not everyone can join live. So if you're joining late, this is going to be live in the Facebook group. We're going to reshare the video, so don't worry. You can go back and watch it on replay and start it from the beginning and watch it through. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much.
Everybody who's listened, I really hope that you've got a good flavour for what the Pink Spaghetti opportunity is. Lovely, ladies who are more than happy to have conversations with you and answer any further questions. So with that, I will leave you to get on with your evenings, and thank you all for listening. And Kelly and Caroline will speak soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's nice to talk to you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.